Definitely Torque.
Those were the days. Ah, yes, the salt HUD. I remember that. Pardon me if I'm a little scratchy. I have a little throat problem here, but I'll get through it. Welcome to the meeting today. Um, I want to first off start us out by announcing the 19th anniversary celebration, SL19B, which will be held June 16th to July 5th. If you've not already heard, the theme for it is steampunk, which I might be able to manage okay. We've already started to roll out some of the applications this time for performers, including the ones for Music Fest. The applications for Music Fest will be going through the 10th of April. And those can be found at that Earl. And the applications for other performances throughout the event close on the 8th of May and can be found over here. We'll have the applications for exhibitors, volunteers, and merchants coming up very soon as well. Just watch the blog as usual at community.secondlife.com. Under the featured news category, we'll have a lot more news coming up very soon about the birthday event.
And on the subject of announcements, we have a new Linden home theme, Newbrook. The style is take on the modern container style home in a really lovely setting for rolling hills and ponds and all the custom handmade communities that you guys are well aware of. There are 8 styles to choose from and are available in both the 5, 12, and 1024 styles that they usually come. To nod back to the old Meadowbrook styles, you guys remember those? Yeah, they were pleasant. This one has a much more modern take. The Newbrooks will be, I think, another fan favorite as we anticipate their rollout. And you can learn more about them here. And there's going to be also a small covenant update. Everyone should be aware of tongue-tied. Go ahead and read about the changes to the covenant here. So Patch outlined a couple of additional lines for the covenant, such as flat roof shipping container homes blend seamlessly with the neighborhood. Garage and room additions are permitted while maintaining architectural consistency with the themes. Newbrook homes should not be modified architecturally with exterior add-ons such as roof altering additions or changes that are out of the theme. So while you can still add on pieces, the general idea is to keep it within the theme and the overall community. Oh, if you haven't been to Belisario, at least you are missing out. There are so many cool spots. I think the first one that I ventured into was just a community swimming pool area. Just a nondescript plot, a little community building pool with the lawn chairs. But I thought it was just so cool to have this community pool in the midst of Linden homes that people can gather. And since then, we've built out much bigger, broader builds. But I just like the sense of community. Just walking down the roads when I have a chance, or pushing my go kart around the streets.
Yeah, just last night I was checking out the Newbrook community area, which is in Newbank, and it's really lovely. It's just got this whole. It's somewhat similar to the new the new orientation area, our social, and just really nice pond around it, and you can res a boat and res bicycles and all of this. It's really fun.
If you haven't checked out the Belisaria area, starting around like Dorma to check out the whole Squishy Pickle area is a really great place to start too.
I think there's been a lot of people really appreciating that it all does connect to the mainland, and even allows you to kind of cross between different parts of the mainland through the Linden home regions.
Adam, try changing your email, but change it to the same thing and then re-verify.
To get around that one, try clearing your viewer cache, your web browser cache. Something might be getting caught up there. And if you're still having trouble, Adam, you know how to get a hold of us. Send a ticket. Just summarize what you're trying to do. We'll see if we get you through it. You can use account issue and change account details. That'll come to us. No. Or you can just use the Adam Burp category. I think we created a ticket submission just for that.
Oh, we changed that. We called that now for Vix Linden.
Oh, my bad.
Unfortunately, there isn't any more Atoli. At least not easily. It's not like you can pull it up in the About land. They changed that a couple of months ago. If you do pay attention to the server types, you can probably figure some of that out. But it's really not the servers. One of the reasons it was changed, just to kind of back up on this, is that people got the idea that, well, the blue steels are better or the magnums are better or whatnot. And really, they're all the same server. They're all the same hardware. Um, the only difference is that the software version on it and the software that's on any particular server type changes very frequently and changes, you'll end up like right now, every server is on the same server type right now. So there's absolutely no difference. So I think it was really to kind of get rid of some of that confusion of, thinking that one is better than another, things like that. But everything is right now completely the same across the board.
Absolutely, Wendy. There really, currently, you're right. There's absolutely no difference. And even when there is a difference, it's a difference of maybe a couple of weeks where we put a little bit of different code on one of the other servers to test it out on, 50 regions before it went out to everything else. And that's really normally the only difference.
Sure thing. Glad to clear that.
If you'd like to be part of the new features and code, RC channel is available. That can be a plus and a negative because code is still in testing and it might come in and out. And if you're just looking for a stable experience, consistent, or the public one, Second Life main channel is the one you're going to want to stay on. Well, we have certain region owners who want to be on the cutting edge of what's new. Adam, you can just use change account details. And it's kind of broad, but that'll be fine enough. You can just summarize and it'll still come to us. If it doesn't come to us, we can write it. I mean, we can keep an eye on it since it's coming from you.
And yeah, be sure to put attention Vix Linden.
Yeah. That's spelled W-E-N-D-I.
Ha ha ha. Don't get me killed, Adam.
And to be fair, TJ is just 2 letters. It's a little shorter than any of our names. That might just be easier. Just trying to help you out there.
But Wendy's nicer.
Lies, all lies. I'm going to tell you, though, about one of our coworkers nowadays. And I'm sure that there's pluses and minuses. But those of you who've come into live chat over the last several months, you may have dealt with Boxy 3000, our chat bot, who helps when live chat isn't available, as well as trying to assist before you come to a live agent. And we're happy to announce that Boxy 3000 has evolved into Boxy 5000, who's a bit smarter than its predecessor. We don't suspect it will cause the robot uprising, but Boxy is still learning and growing, so perhaps the sky's the limit, or the Skynet's the limit. I don't know, but you can learn a bit more about that at that. But it is still learning. There's still obviously things that are changing on it, but do check it out. It's fun.
Adam, that's totally fine. Yeah. Either Wendy or I, and we'll route it to our queue. On the topic of Boxy, since a lot of you are premium residents, what's your experience been so far with the new automated chat response? Boxy 5000 is a lot more comprehensive, so he's filled with a lot more knowledge, and we're just fine-tuning the responses based on questions asked. So always welcome for feedback on how we can make it better.
And definitely be patient with Boxy because it's much more communicative. So in an attempt to try to be more personable, sometimes it misunderstands. So just give it a chance.
Yeah, exactly, Adam. And I think it's actually a little bit smoother, just overall, certainly than the previous Boxy. But still working out some kinks.
Yes, that's very handy when support is out of operations, off hours. Having Boxy there to kind of do some light work is very helpful. No, I get to sleep now.
Oh, and also I'll add in just if it is during our time and you're trying to deal with boxing, something comes up, just say speak to an agent, and you'll be routed directly to any of us. That can sometimes save you a little bit of trouble if it's something that that it's unusual that boxing may or not be able to help with. You can just bypass.
Oh, Mary, I have a suggestion for your suggestion. Izzy beat me to it. Yeah, we have a suggestion portal. It's our bug reporting system, but when you log in as a resident, you'll see an option to send in suggestions. And that is an excellent suggestion. I'm sure the review team would love to take a look at. We can't guarantee any actions based on suggestions, but we definitely encourage any ideas to come through, especially because, as residents, you guys are using the product day in and day out, and you can probably spot things quicker than we can as far as things that would, make your daily lives more enjoyable. So I would definitely suggest submitting it in. It could be literally the paragraph that you already gave to us, and our review team will take a look. That is the way to go to get ideas in for proper review.
Another great thing about that, Mary, is that you get to deal with a developer or whatever that actually is looking into your issue rather than going through us and waiting, for us to send it backwards and forwards and whatnot. Exactly.
And I'd just add on that they actually do review those throughout the week daily. So you can always, get a response of some nature pretty quickly on those.
Patrick, I think they were talking about for Mainland.
Yeah, it's sim owner or estate manager for private. Estate owner or estate manager.
Yeah, for the private islands, I wouldn't suggest using Boxy. I would just go, if you're the region owner or an estate manager or estate owner, go through the website and do it.
No, it's done through a web browser. You could probably do it in the internal browser, I think. You might have an easier time just bringing up a web browser tab and opening up the link.
Yeah, Mary, if you go to secondlife.com and then you go to the land, log in to your account there and go to the land, you can actually see a list of your regions and restart it that way.
Hello, chaps. I have a question for everyone. If somebody, mentioning no names, has sent a group notice with an attachment of an item and they found out, oh my god, the perms are wrong on it, what are their options for cancelling the group notice or whatever? Can anything be done, or is it just got a timeout?
Yeah, unfortunately, once it goes out in a group notice, it's you have to wait 2 weeks. It doesn't. We don't have a method for removing those.
Oh, right. So you can't just flood the group with lots more notices. It doesn't have a memory of how many it holds or anything.
No, it still does 14 days. Yeah, same.
That
sounds like a good.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that sounds like a good thing to report in.
Yeah, way back when I also suggested that there'd be like a review process that, when notices that go out, an owner had to approve it, but people didn't think that was necessary.
And it can't be pulled by you, no?
No.
No, unfortunately.
Oh, wow, okay, I've never come across it before, so it can't happen that often, but yeah, how inconvenient.
But when it does,
Oh yeah, when it does, that's it, you're screwed, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I try to tell people to think of it like an email. Once you've sent it out, it's out there.
Did turn off the group's ability to receive notices, but I'm assuming that that's too late. The pool's already been seeded.
Right, it's already been sent out.
Kaneko, I'm curious, what type of discounts are you mentioning? Are you like specific for like educational or non-profit?
Yeah, because I'm not aware of any current discounts for Mainland.
likewise. That's interesting, Torque. It's working for me as expected. It's not push to talk.
As lock open, lock close, we put a ticket in 2 years ago, and they did change it, and then subsequently, about 6 weeks later, they changed it back again. Now it's push to talk again, so I'm sort of like, I've got these instructions showing people how to do it, but if it's now the default, I can get rid of them. But it has been the default before.
Yeah.
They may be finding things within the feature that are not working as expected, and kind of bringing it back to the drawing board and releasing it again. Usually that's what it means when something is taken off and replaced. It's usually updated or upgraded or fixed.
So what would be a reasonable amount of time to wait before I remove them?
You mean instructions as like posted online for your residents?
We have instructions in the new user area showing them how to enable push to talk, but obviously I can lose that if it's fixed or if it's changed. But like I say, we've been down this route once before and they put it back to lock open, lock close.
Gotcha. I would actually save a copy somewhere in case you need it relatively fast. If it's working now, you can take it down, and then something happens, you have like a copy that's ready to go. You can bring back up.
Drag it underground in case I need it again.
Exactly.
Basically. I'd make sure I have an archive of it somewhere so you don't lose that information.
Okay, thanks.
I don't think that would be an issue, Imuna. That's a collaboration you can work out. Certainly, we've had similar in the past.
Serena, it should be a separate line for European residents. When they see the value-added tax, you first see the fee, and then in a separate line with the VAT. So yeah, it should definitely be split. They'll be together, happening at the same time, but separate lines. You're welcome. I haven't heard of, to your second question, Serena, I haven't heard of any plans to offset the sales taxes, but if anything comes up, you'll find it first on our featured news page. I'll go ahead and provide a link here. Yeah, sorry I couldn't give you a better answer on the second one. And moving on to our next topic here, we recently began to offer multi-factor authentication for our web services and are now testing it for viewer login. If you'd like to be part of this beta test service, feel free to try out our MFA beta viewers, which can be found here. And always, if you run into any issues, you have any questions or suggestions, definitely contact support. Probably sounds robotic now, but that's why we're here. Yeah, also what Lindenberg just said. Where'd that come from?
Somebody clicked on the Lambert.
Torque, do you mean as far as like the current state of release, like the current viewer release?
Well, I fiddled with the settings, you know, the level of detail and things. I wanted to put everything back to how it originally is, how the new user installs it. So I'm assuming there's something I need to delete somewhere.
Yeah, we have a page for that. It's what we recommend. It's called a clean install. That's where not only do you delete the viewer, but you also go into your machine and delete the configuration files. So I will come up
Fabulous, thank you.
The link. Yeah, you're welcome. For deeper issues where just restarting the viewer or clearing the cache doesn't help, we also have this step.
Yeah, no, it's purely because I fiddle around with it and I've lost can't see the wood for the tree. Excellent, thank you.
So, Marty,
Not that bad an idea.
But you're suggesting that we suggest to our bosses that we get asked to work 24/7.
I mean, that's some pretty good overtime.
Seriously.
Fix will do it. But yeah, it is actually a great idea because, or at the very least, turn it on at the beginning of our shift, not at the end.
Not anymore. I'm trying to think if we ever had 20. Izzy, did we ever have like a 24-hour shift?
We used to be 24/7.
24/7. Because I remember we were 6 a.m. to midnight.
Yeah, this is back when we had people in England and Germany and Australia, all over the world. We had Lindens. Next time you go there, Torek, buy a donut in my name.
Either it was a really small shop or a really big donut shop. One of the two. Really popular donuts. No new news.
Sorry. I was just going to say, we keep asking about that also, just like you guys do, and we get the same answer of it's on the horizon, but we can't say how far away just yet.
Yeah, it's currently in development. I wouldn't put a firm ETA until you see something, honestly, on featured news that we have something concrete ready to announce. Other than that, we're hoping, we're working. It's in the plans. It's definitely still in the plans, but yeah, no concrete ETA. Yeah, soon trademark.
Yeah, I suspect after that, Mary. And Adam, because I know that you're interested, I don't have any new news yet on mobile as well, but I know that's still in the works.
But I do have some good news. How about some new last names? Yeah? So with the latest iteration, we added a bunch of new names, such as Fox Paws, Captain, which I kind of like, Starchild, Blep. I don't know Blep.
I'm good for Blep.
Grumpy Pants, which should be a fan favorite. Jackman, Kiko, Norbert, Ayashi, is that how you pronounce it? Ayashi? Corvinus, which I can see in the Gore community. McGregor, Marquez, and Rizzo. And here's the list. But what's Blep? You gotta tell me about Blep. I've never seen Blep. Oh, pet owners, okay.
I can send you a picture of a Blep. It's when your pet has their tongue hanging out slightly.
Connecto, that's available now, actually. At least for private region owners, for full regions, if you're not aware. Right now, those are the only ones that are eligible for premium increases. It's an additional service that you can pay. It's $30 to set up and $30 extra a month, and you're given 30,000 prims to use, which is quite the push. Yep, that's it.
An initial 30K, and then it adds 30 to your monthly maintenance. That's you do a support ticket at support.secondlife.com. The issue type is land and region, and I believe it's land impact change for the sub issue.
Yeah, for a standard price of $229 a month for a full region for 20,000 prims, add an additional $30 for an extra 10,000 prims, basically increasing it by 30%, I think, is value added.
And while I can't obviously speak to what changes might come on that in the future, I know we've been looking at a lot of the regions and how they're performing right now, and getting a lot of really good feedback on performance with them nowadays. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some more changes.
Yeah, that's another change that we made since the uplift completion to AWS, and we've made further enhancements. What we're seeing is major script improvements across the board, both just normal use as well as, I would also say, just recently we had a big event where a lot of us were enrolled, and script performance across boundaries was also pretty nice. So very happy with how things are looking.
Yeah, absolutely, Izzy. I mean, it's great to have the new script time and so forth, but there's always going to be that balance. You can always provide better resources by making it a very tight region and still have more time.
And you'll always get, when you're having events and whatnot, that person wearing 4 HUDs, 3 AOs, even though they're not doing anything, and having a script time of 4 MS themselves. So just keep that estate manager checking during your events going. Yes, Mary, much better than it used to be.
Yeah, I was checking out a couple of different events yesterday and over the weekend, and really noticing how quickly everything was coming in and so forth, even with a very sizable crowd. It was really quite nice.
I think you'll enjoy the premium increase, especially if you're reaching your own limit, Kaneko. As Wendy said, we believe strongly that regions can hold 30,000 prims and still operate efficiently. Torque had a good point, just watch your script usage, but that same methodology can also be used for basically any region. We've seen regions with barely anything, and the type of scripts they had rested out was enough to bog it down.
And watch out for the textures that are on some of the newer items.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'd say
Honestly,
a
it
few
depends.
here and there. Probably not. I think 512 is still the preferred, because the sheer number that you're probably going to be putting out. If your region is comprised mostly of 1024s, you might see some rendering slowdowns, especially from visitors when their viewers are burdened at the start because they have to render out all the textures around them. So if you can keep it to a moderate or minimum amount, I think that overall it would be better.
Yeah, and it's basically an issue of how many are downloading for a particular person that's coming in at the same time. The bigger issues are where your res zone is in a wide open area that has lots of 1024 textures that are viewable from that area that they're logging in from.
Yeah, every time you have a 1024 texture, that's a substantial download that's going on. And if you have a number of those are all having to fit through that user's pipe. So, it's going to end up affecting how fast their network is, how they're connecting, so forth, much more than even the region.
Oh, I also heard a event manager did something that makes complete sense to me. I don't know why I didn't think of doing it, but she purposefully lowers her avatar rendering threshold to a pretty low amount. I think she said she sets it to like 35,000 or something like that. And anybody who doesn't res in, she immediately starts investigating them because they're having too much of a pull because of their rendering costs and whatnot. So just an interesting idea I wanted to share.
Pantera, I think it's more of design choice, as you mentioned, when you're initially visiting the region, how much bandwidth is going to be exacted on the viewer. If you can sprinkle around the 1024, that's going to be better. Maybe keep them away from the res zone, and as they progress through the region, you can kind of start filtering them in. You can definitely, it's a trial and error. Design it how you like, see how it performs, see how visitors react if they're experiencing any issues, and then definitely go from there. But we kind of like an open res area. It's a little bit easier to get into, so the viewer is not being locked up, teleporting in because there's just so much data that is trying to squeeze in from the get-go.
The other thing about that is that the biggest issue that you're having with texture download is the timeout for it. So the larger the texture size, if it times out, it doesn't pick up where it left off. It starts over again. So the 4512s is probably more efficient than the 11024 because the 11024 might take several times to download.
Yeah, and if your visitor is experiencing any packet loss on their end, they can just compound the issue.
That wiki link will show you kind of the relative sizes in megabytes or kilobytes for different textures. Can help you optimize a bit. And that's actually something I'm not sure we mentioned. I think it was after this last month. We did an upgrade on the Second Life wiki, so it's a lot more modernized nowadays.
I think we touched on that before, but we don't really talk about it.
We might have. Yeah, exactly, Mary. Really, if you have something that's very detailed, a mesh object that has a lot of details, you can often use just a single 1024 for the entire box or whatever to cover all the bases. Or if it's just a single piece, it's really relatively small. You really don't need a full 1024 for, like you said, a piece of sheet music or something like that. It's being wise about what goes where.
Exactly. I've seen stone walls that are, not that tall, not that wide, that have 1024 by 1024 textures in it. And when I'm right up to it and it's fully res, I'm like, there's not all that much detail. Why did they use such a potent texture in this? So it's, deciding what what the use and what the need is for.
Yes.
Imuna, I would say for the 360 snapshot, which is really cool, by the way. I want to post the announcement page for everyone. I found this tool just to be another way to both experience and record, your journey through Second Life in and out.
Indeed, Pantera, they're often with tiny jewelry. You'll see that come up where you've got a lot of 1024 textures and also some fairly complex mesh objects being used for jewelry that will end up causing a lot of lag. You don't really think about it because it's just a little necklace, but or a ring or whatnot, but it really can affect. A very good point, Key.
Well, we have about 10 minutes left, and we'll just go ahead and keep the remaining time open to questions. We do, yes.
And I would add that they are appreciated as well.
Adam gave me 4 out of 5 toilets on my last ticket.
Just as well, Emilia, just as well. Yes, Serena, they have. And I know that that's something that is being looked into. Possibly. It's on the roadmap, at least for this year. So hopefully we'll see some enhancements on that. Because I know that that is something that people would really like to see. Not the least of which being myself.
Sorry,
You're
ready to
welcome.
answer your question, Mary, and I just keep coughing.
And
Uh,
Adam, go ahead, Vix.
Oh, sure. Mary, the best way that I could explain draw distance is it's not going to affect things around you close. It's going to affect things at a distance, as it's mentioned. It's going to allow rendering to happen. If you're on a region, it's going to allow rendering to happen maybe a half region over, so you can see buildings, and it will also include textures. But anything more than 128, and depending upon your machine, you might see some slowdown because now you're asking more of your graphics card and viewer. So it will pull textures from a distance, but not as much like in your immediate surroundings, if that makes sense. I usually keep my draw distance at about 208, 240, around there. And that's enough that I can see both around me and I get a good sense of, my surroundings without pushing my my machine too hard.
Please go ahead, Prokofy. Take care, Muna.
Thanks for all the questions, Mina. Have a good day. Has anyone answered your Pintor yet? Questions about Ape? Really quickly, Pintor, I don't have an answer as far as an update to the EAP. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy your name and question and have a ready answer next month. I'll see what I can find.
Mari, what do you mean by that? Just so I can make sure I'm understanding. Right. And Prokofy, as far as the buy for group on auctions, it's just not set that way, and it would be a programming change to give people the options that we just haven't done yet. So you could make a feature request on jira.secondlife.com for that, and I think it's a great idea, but it's just not a possibility at this time. Mari, what I would suggest you do, if you're going to sell land, that you sell it while it's actually in the group.
I'll go and leave it to Izzy and Wendy if they know, because I don't know off the top of my head if we've made an update since then on EAP. I've copied down the question and I can find out offline.
Not to my knowledge, but I don't know. And Prokofy, all I know on the sales tax side is that we've been charged all along, and it's just a policy change now. I don't really have any flexibility, unfortunately.
And we made a recent update to the announcement. As of March 31st, we will begin charging sales tax in the U.S. So if you're curious of what the tax would be, look up your local sales tax percent. It's going to be based on that. That's for U.S. residents. There are some, yes. Thank you very much, Atoli. It's great having you here. We'll see you next month.
Yeah, have a wonderful day, everybody.
I think that's our time. I appreciate all the questions, guys.
Thank you all for coming.
Our next meeting will be April 27th, 12
That's a
p.m.
good question,
Pacific
Prokofy. Go ahead. Go ahead, Vix.
No, I'm done.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely Easter, won't you? We won't see you before.
Yeah, take care.
Oh, is that the 27th? Oh, wait a minute. I think that's the 23rd. Did I get that date right, Wendy? Where would I be without Wendy?
Thank you, Prokofy. I liked it as well.
Yeah, I got it right. Take care, all.
Enjoy all.